Want to learn how to take over vehicles and buildings? Or breach and take over your opponent's vehicles and buildings? In this video, we'll find out how. If this game interests you and you want to find out about our Kickstarter, follow the link in the description below and sign up to become a member of our player community. There are three types of game pieces in Incursion America: vehicles, personnel, and obstacles. You can tell the type of game piece from the upper right icon on their game card. A gear is a vehicle, a personnel silhouette is a personnel, and a block is an obstacle. Some cards also have an upward arrow, meaning it's an upgrade card. Personnel game pieces can enter into vehicles and obstacles. When a personnel enters a vehicle or obstacle, it's called embarking. When a personnel exits a vehicle or obstacle, it's called disembarking. Embarking and disembarking are actions that happen in the action step. The number of personnel that can be embarked is shown on the vehicle or obstacles game card, and it's called troops. In this example, the pizzeria can hold a maximum of 4 personnel. Vehicles can also hold pilots. These are in addition to the troops, but can only be occupied with personnel that have the pilot skill. If a vehicle does not have a number of pilots embarked equal to the number of pilots shown on its game card, that vehicle may only make one action on its turn. Of course, vehicles without any pilots can't take any actions. There is one other way personnel can move with a vehicle. This is called hitching a ride. The personnel climb onto the outside of the vehicle and hold on for dear life. Because they're holding on, personnel hitching a ride cannot perform any other actions that round. The number of personnel that can hitch a ride on a vehicle depends on the size of the vehicle's base. 1 personnel can ride for every 2 squares on the vehicle base. The Bulldog has 4 squares on its base, so 2 people can hitch a ride. Where the Viper has 9 squares under its base, so 4 people can hitch a ride. If you ever have fractions, always round down. Whenever personnel are embarked or hitching a ride on a vehicle, place the personnel game piece off the game board on the vehicle's game card. Personnel embarked in an obstacle can be placed on the game card, or they can be placed on top of that obstacle. Incursion America's obstacles are flat on top to allow you to place embarked personnel on them. Now, let's talk about boarding actions. This is something that sets Incursion America apart from other skirmish games. What if you want to take control of a vehicle or obstacle from your opponent? That's where boarding actions come in. In the start step, if you have a personnel at range less than or equal to 2 from an enemy-controlled vehicle or obstacle, you can declare a boarding action. When declaring a boarding action, the player identifies every personnel game piece that will attempt to board. In this example, the Ratnik soldiers are declaring a boarding action, and the Russian player will declare that all 4 Ratnik soldiers are boarding. Then the defending player identifies all the personnel game pieces they have embarked in that vehicle or obstacle that's going to attempt to repel the boarders. Here, the American player is declaring that all 6 National Guardsmen inside the building will be defending the boarding action. None of these game pieces from either player may perform any other actions for the rest of the round. This means if pilots in a vehicle attempt to repel boarders, they can't operate that vehicle. Boarding actions can take several rounds. In the first round, an attacking personnel is boarding. They have to roll to see if they successfully board. Roll one 10-sided dice for every personnel attempting to board. A roll of 1 means that personnel is defeated and removed from the game. They got run over, they got stepped on by the mech, they fell out of a window and landed on their heads. Something happened where they got killed. A roll of 2 or 3 means they failed. They aren't hurt, but they didn't make it either. A roll of 4 or more means they successfully made it inside. In this example, one of our Ratnik soldiers rolled a 1, so he's immediately removed from the game and will not take place in the boarding action. For those attacking personnel on their first round of boarding, they're done. They spent their time trying to climb in. They don't get to attack this round. Next round, if they survive, they can attack. The defending player's game pieces automatically are in the boarding action and can attack in that first round. Now, all our personnel can attack. Like normal attacks, personnel move in initiative order. It doesn't matter which player owns the game piece. Remember, attacking personnel who are on their first round of the boarding action can't attack. In our example, the Russians are in their first round of the boarding action, so they don't get to attack. The Americans all have an initiative of 14, so the American player can move them in any order. The highest initiative personnel picks any enemy personnel and attacks just like a normal attack. Roll a 1d10, and if the result is greater than their aim, the attack is successful. Successful attacks do damage shown on the attacker's game card. If a game piece is defeated, immediately remove it from the game. If they haven't had their turn to attack, they don't get one. Boarding actions are very dangerous. Because the defenders get an entire round of shooting before the attackers get to return fire, as we can see in this example, the Russians aren't faring very well. Even though the Russian Ratniks are more powerful figures than the American National Guardsmen, the Russians lost 3 of their 4 game pieces before they ever got to attack. This boarding action goes to the Americans, who maintain control of the building. Watch for future game pieces and upgrade cards to help even these odds. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. If you'd like updates on our Kickstarter, please follow the link in the description below and subscribe to our newsletter. If you'd like updates on our Kickstarter, please follow the link in the description below and subscribe to our newsletter. If you liked this video, please subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment below. We need your help to build a better game.